Okay, so good morning. Okay, so welcome to another class, another session for information technology for logistics. Okay, and today we're going to continue what we left off last time, which is so we want to deploy the web application using the server technologies. And today we're going to be continuing the topic called web application. So right now we can go to the lecture, which there's nothing much in here. But just want to remind you guys that in the end, hopefully today, you will have a running web application that can be accessed from the public URL. For example, something like this, where you don't have to be in the VPN network and anybody can access it. You know, hopefully this is not the actual production, like this is not the actual one you're going to use, but just kind of like the example, okay? So, I mean, this one is for public URL, so anybody can access this one with the internet connection. Okay, and just to remind you guys that what we have been doing last time is to install or deploy what is called the LEMP stack, which is kind of like a, it's not a really common term, but just a term that kind of refer to what kind of technology that we're using. For example, we're using Linux because this is what the server, I guess 90% of the server nowadays is running on Linux. So you have been using it, I mean, quite a bit last time. And you have installed what's called Nginx server, Nginx, which is the web server. So that this is an application that understands the HTTP request from the browser. So anybody with a web browser can potentially talk to it, and it can respond with something that actually meaningful. Okay? And last time, this is what we did at the end of the class, which is to install the database engine. It's called MariaDB. Also, MySQL is another, I guess, very, very popular choice. But MySQL is not open source. It's owned by Oracle. So for me, if I can choose between open source and proprietary software, open source would be my go-to option. Okay, and then and today, hopefully, we will do PHP because PHP is something that you have written a little bit because I saw from the assignment you wrote some PHP. Although this is not the coding class, so don't worry. You can ask AI if you need to. Okay, but before we even start to do anything, I like to go through some checklists. And this is how I usually debug myself. If I cannot connect to any services, I usually go through these steps to see if anything goes wrong, then I can kind of figure out, what went wrong. Because anything can go wrong with the IT in the IT world. Okay, so first of all, you have to check if your internet is working or not. So why don't we go to terminal? So I don't use web browser to check for internet because that's involved too many things. But if I want to check my internet, usually I just do ping. So ping is the low-level command to test your connection, right? And ping talk to some of the server, and the server that you want to talk to is something like this. So this is the it's called DNS server from Cloudflare. So this is a public DNS server that you typically can assume that 1.1.1.1 it never is going to be down, ever. If this one is down, I think that will be a much better trouble in the global connectivity. So 1.1.1.1 usually is up pretty much 100% of the time. So if you cannot ping its address, your internet connection has a problem. So fix that first, okay? So I'm going to do this, ping, okay, ping 1.1.1.1. And for me, it's working. So great, my internet connection is working. And now we can go through the second step, right? So the second step is that we want to connect to our server, but remember that the server is actually sitting in the building next door. And if you use the public internet, you cannot access the server. You have to be in the virtual private network, so VPN network, okay? So that's kind of like a virtualized connectivity, as if your computer is actually connected with the wire to the server that I set up next door, okay? So in order to do that, you gotta have to know the address of the VPN server, which I'm gonna tell you right now. So it's gonna be 10.66.66.1. So if you ping this one and it doesn't work, that means that you're not in the VPN network. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay, as you kind of go through this exercise and something not working, always go back to the, the list. Okay, so I'm going to ping this one, right? And of course, this is not working, okay? And it's not working because I haven't really connected with my VPN network yet, right? WireGuard, remember? So I gotta be connected, okay? So let's do just that, okay? Here, I purposely not connected just to show you, right? So I activate it, okay? And then now I'm running these commands again. It's working. Okay, so that means if this is working, that means you are in the VPN network. Okay, so let me know if you cannot ping the VPN server. So just to remind you, the VPN server that I use, I have to buy it from the public company. Like it has to be publicly accessible, so I have to pay monthly fee for it. So it's not free, okay? But it's dirt cheap. So nowadays you can rent things like less than 200 baht a month. So pretty much dirt cheap, right? All right, so everybody connect to the VPN server, right? Okay, that's good. So next, your own server. So now I don't remember which one has what, but for example, for me, I take a note that my server name is like this, .local. So your URL .local, the one that's for your own. Okay, so for me, I'm gonna try to ping my server to see if my server is actually running. Okay, so I'm gonna ping pm3-ct161.local. Hopefully it's responding. Yep, it's responding. Okay, so if this one doesn't work, let me know. Okay, you have to go to this assignment. Feedback. Yep. And for those who successfully ping this, we can even figure out what is the IP address of this exact address. We're going to be using it today, so why don't we, while we're waiting, let's just find out what is this address translates into the real IP address. Okay, that's going to be dig. Remember, this is the command that I told you to install while you set up your computer. And if you do dig pm3-ct161, for you it will be different, okay? .local, then you can figure out that, your specific IP address for that URL is. So we're going to be using this just to test the connectivity with the web server too. So why don't we keep this number handy, okay? So I'm going to keep this number handy just to okay, so server IP, how about that, okay? That. Okay, for you it will be different, okay? But notice that actually the anything that begins with 10.66.66 is it's a device in the VPN network. Okay, that's called the private IP. So anything begin with 10. Like if you log into VPN network for CMU, you will see that it also begin with 10. So 10 it's like a private IP. Okay. Okay, so I hopefully everyone can successfully ping the server and also maybe figure out the server IP. Okay, so the next thing, maybe we can just to check out if something's running. I forgot. Okay, so log in. Okay, so why don't we try log into our server? It's going to be SSH, right? SSH is the secure shell, like going through the command, going through the terminal, and then everybody should have the same users called admin, and then followed by either your IP or your URL. It's the same thing, as long as it's you can connect to it. So I'm going to do pm3-ct161.local. Okay, and then everybody should have the same password. Look into your information, okay? Like that. Okay, so I'm good to go, right? So I'm in. Log in to server. And that's going to be admin, SSH. Now admin at pm3ct161.local. Okay, like that. Okay, so once we're in, why don't we check just one thing real quick if we have the service running. So last time we have two things running. One is the web server by Nginx. The other one is the database server. And usually what I do is I check for ports. So ports, it's like the channel for things to be connected to. So the command, so maybe I'll just say check running port, okay? Check like port usage, okay? So that's sh-t, actually have to sudo ss-tulpn. Okay, so I'm going to do that sudo, okay, ss-tulpn. And then you have to type in the password one more time, okay? Okay, and what you want to be looking for is 80. If you have 80, that means that your web server is running. And if you มองไม่เห็นป่ะครับมองไม่เห็นหรือเปล่าครับเซฟเอาเซฟโอเคเดี๋ยวผมเซฟให้อยู่แล้วนะครับไม่เป็นไรนะเดี๋ยวผมก๊อปใส่เข้าไปในwhat you want to do is the port 80 that is the web servers and then you want to do 3316 that's the database. Do I have database? I think I do. Okay. 3306, not 3316. So if you notice, I have 3306 and I have 80 running. Okay. And if you look at on your right, so it's a little bit cramped in here. I have MariaDB running and I have Nginx running. Okay. So that's what you want to be looking for usually. So if you don't have these two, that means something's wrong and I can go help you, hopefully. Okay.
It's just a question. So 80 is the server is running and 003.
Yep, that's the database. That's the database. Yep.
The database is running?
Yes, they are.
Right.
Okay. I wonder, so you should see, oh, okay, it's actually wrapped thing around here. So right here, you should say MariaDB somewhere. Yeah, that over there. Yep. Okay, there are many ways to see the service running. You can look at the list. I kind of forgot the command. Usually I just check the ports, okay? All right, so if everyone's good, that means we can move on. That's good. I'm actually praying that, that nobody has problem here because it's, sometimes it takes a long time to figure out the problem. Okay, so if it's running and you can connect to it, now we can see if you can connect from dbeber, right? Because that's the one that some people might have problem because they might forget your password. Okay, so I prepare the solution to help you reset the password if that's the case. So if you open your dbeber, if you didn't do anything in particular from last time, you should have it available in here. And you can test it right now by just click the drop down. It should just connect using the old credential that you input last time, like here. So like for me, I'm good to go, right? But if you have problem, let me know. Usually, you have to type in the right password. So keep in mind your password, okay? Because today, we're going to be using the code, some PHP code, and you have to change your password accordingly, okay? So I assume for me it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So if your password is different, then you might need to change. I'll let you know when that happens. Okay, so you're good with dbeber? Okay, wow. Surprising. Usually there will be lots of problems, okay? And so connect, okay, connect with dbeber, okay, okay. And the last thing is that I have prepared you what is called public URL. So that's actually connect to your web server. So let me show you one thing, or you can try with me, okay? So if I were to pick up this thing right here, okay, so this is my server URL, right? I can type this in my web browser, and it will just show me something. Hopefully, right here. And this is exactly because your Nginx is running on port 80. Like if you type your server URL on it, you should see it's called welcome. It's called the default page from Nginx. Usually, if your Nginx is down, you will not see anything on this page. Okay. So this is actually using the local URL. Okay. But today, I have prepared you the public URL. So your public URL will be in this format. So for me, if this is my server, it will be like this. So I'm going to delete local-web-.iecmu.com. Okay. So you just have to change the first part. This part is where it changes to your particular server. So you can try this one. Okay, so this one is actually the public URL because anybody can access from this URL, but they cannot access from the local URL because they're not in the VPN. Okay, but let's just try real quick if that works. Okay, so I'm going to put that public URL in, and I'm going to hit enter, and that's actually it should work too. Okay, you can even try from your phone. Right? Because right now your computer is connected to the VPN, so it's it's kind of cheating, right? But if you trust me, or you can try later on. If you use any other computer, it should work. Okay. Or you can also disconnect from VPN first and try that. Maybe I'll show that to you. Okay. So if I were to disconnect from my VPN, right? This one will still work. Okay. But then the one that is the local URL will not work. Wait, this works because I think I need to refresh it. It's caching, I think. Yeah, if I empty the cache, then it doesn't work anymore. Sometimes the web browser is kind of it's doing the thing that I don't want it to do, so you have to kind of know what's happening. So right now, the local URL does not work, but the public URL is always working. Okay, so that's the thing that we want to do. We want to make this into something else useful to your, I don't know, your company, to your project, okay? All right, so before we even go further, okay, let me just explain what's happening here, okay? So because it's kind of a networking complications in here, okay? So I want to explain to you, so how did it work? When you were connected in the VPN and you can access the website from the local URL. So how does it work, right? So you can imagine that right now I have a bunch of server running, okay? And think about this. First, you have your VPN network. So this is going to be in this purple box in here. So VPN network is the virtual network that mimics the connection, the wired connection. So essentially, you can think about these 4 computers connected to the wired in the same local area network. Okay, so if they're connected to the same local area network, then if you were to type in this link right here, okay, this is a local URL. Okay, the first thing that your computer will do is it has to know which IP it is. Like your computer doesn't know where to go if you were to type the human readable name like this. So it has to ask what is called the DNS server, so the domain name system server, okay? And in this virtual private network, I already set up my own private DNS server. It's sitting right here, okay? And your computer knows where to ask exactly because of this configuration right here, this guy. So in your WireGuard setup, I already set up like all of your configuration. I already tell the WireGuard adapter that if you need to know any private IP, any private URL, you got to ask this guy right here. So that is called the DNS server, which I set it up in my virtual private network, this guy right here. So your computer was like, okay, I need to know this PM1CT102.local. So it asks this guy, and then this guy answers and tells you back that, okay, that translates into 10.66.66.30. And you can even ask that one, like you can even try by just saying, by using the command dig. So you remember I told you to do dig? that is actually asking the DNS server, the local one, if, what is that IP translates into, and that's going to be, I think this one I didn't have it because I forgot to turn on my VPN. But if I turn on my VPN, then I know that this is the address that, whatever PM3106 translates into, okay? And once I know that, I can now connect to the actual server. So I use this address, that is the answer from my DNS server, and I can connect to the application server. So this is your own server, your separate server. So there are many servers in my VPN, but that's yours. Okay, so that's how it works when you do the local connection. So as you can imagine, if you're not in the VPN network, you disconnect from WireGuard, then the DNS server does not work, and then you cannot virtually connect it to anything in here. So this one does not work, okay? So the same thing with any public computer. If you give them the local URL, it does not work, okay? So what happened is like, I want to make the application available to public. So that means I got to have another system running. So the first thing is I got to have the domain. So I buy the domain called iecmu.com. So this guy right here. So iecmu.com, I bought it. I pay for about 300 baht per year. So it's practically free, okay? And I register this domain with the public DNS server. So this guy is owned by Cloudflare. So it's a public one. So I tell this DNS server, the public one, that if anybody was to ask me about my domain, you can answer. So I have to go into this setting, and I have to say, okay, if somebody type something like this, it's going to translate into that address. So I have to manually do it. So I did it yesterday, okay? So then what happened is that if your computer were to ask something about the domain, iecmu.com, your computer is actually going to ask that public DNS server, okay? And that happens because I already tell your computer that if you don't have any answer, just go through the public one. So 8.8.8.8 is actually the public domain server from Google. And Google and Cloudflare is actually linked together, so it doesn't matter what you ask. But the reason that I have to address here is that I have the local one first. So ask the local one first. If you don't know the local one, or if the local one doesn't know, ask the public one. So that's the reason why you have two addresses in here. Okay, so in the background, your computer was asking the public DNS server that you have the public URL. What does that translate into? And that translates into the public IP of my I guess my public facing server. So this one I have to pay. I have to buy it with a static IP. And now your computer can connect to my, I guess, gateway public server, okay? And then my public server is actually have another software running. It's called the reverse proxy. So this one is going to translate your request and see, oh, okay, you were asking for PM1 CT102. So we're going to route it into your specific web application server. Because there are many application servers running behind this, because you guys have, like everyone has separate server. So I have to be able to determine like what is this request translate into which server. And that's called the reverse proxy server. So, that reverse proxy application. So that's another application that I need to configure. Okay, so behind the scene, I do a lot of things to make that happen. So just to let you know that it's not quite straightforward, but once you get a hang of it, it works the same way every time. Like even in the big enterprises, it works like this. Okay, always going to be the public, the gateway server. It's going to be reverse proxy of some sorts, and then internally, it's going to route things, using the virtual private network. That's always going to be the case. Okay. All right. Hopefully, I don't bore you to death. Let's do the actual things. Okay. What we want to do is we want to do a bookstore website, and that's motivated by your example in the Mango webs. Okay. Okay. So let's continue. So right now, if you want to make a website, you need database. Okay, so last time I think I show you how to create a simple database, right? If I were to expand this one, Maybe I did not. Okay, so this one doesn't have any database in it, which is okay, which is okay. So we're going to be creating a new one today, all right? So if you go to my lecture, and we are going to copy this command. So this command is a SQL command. SQL is the database language. So if you can see, this is very similar to English, right? Create database if not exists. Like I don't even need to explain anything. Like just create it if it doesn't exist. Just create the one called IE bookstore, okay? The problem is where do you run this, okay? You can run this in many places, but I guess what I want to show you is run through dbeber, because this one gives you a nice graphical user interface to work with, okay? It's kind of small, so I will try to zoom in as much as I can, okay? So in here, what you want to do is you want to go to this thing right here. It's called SQL. Okay, so it allows you to type in commands, basically. So if I go to press it here, then maybe I have something in here. So just select, I mean, for me, I have many databases, right? But you should have just one choice. So just pick your server name, okay? And just select it, okay? And you should be greeted with something that you can type. And that's exactly what you can type. Or you can just copy it in. So I'm going to copy this line and just paste it in here. So notice that you should have the correct server name on it. I mean, it should be your own, okay? And this is how you're going to run your query. It's called query, okay? There are many things. So this command run just one line, okay? This one run a paragraph. This one run the entire thing. So why don't we just run the entire thing? So I'm going to press the third one. Okay, so it's quite complicated, right? This program is a lot of buttons. So we're going to do the third button. Okay, run the whole script. Okay, I'm running it. If you run it already and there's no error, you should be able to see your database. So I'm going to come in my database. Okay, I'm going to right click and click refresh. So keep in mind that in your database, it do not automatically refresh. So if you want to see the changes, you always have to refresh manually by right click and then click the refresh, okay? So I'm going to click refresh like this, and then right now I have my IE bookstore. So there you go. You can do this with the command line in the terminal too. It's the same thing, but this one, you know, it's nicer to have some mouse and keyboard to use, right? Okay. Okay, so right now you have your database, but it's empty. There's no table inside, right? So I want some table. So think about this. Your database is Excel file. Your table is Excel sheet. So right now you have empty file. There's no sheets anywhere. Let's do that, okay? So that's going to be the next command, this one. And before you get turned off by this, right, try to read it and see if you can understand it. This is pretty much just English, right? Create table if it doesn't exist. Of course, right? My table is going to be called book list. Okay, so the first, the way that we tell the SQL out is that the first thing is going to be the name of the database, which we just created, and then dot the table, which is kind of like Excel sheet, right? And then this table is going to have two columns. The first column is called ISBN. The second column is called title. And then the data type is called varchar. It's the thing about it as a text. It's a text, okay? And then the primary key is just the fact that this column is an index column, okay? And then not now, that means that if you want to create the data, you cannot have nothing in that row. That's it, right? And again, if you look into the second paragraph, you're going to see that we're going to create another table called order detail. Because I saw that in your example, you can order books and you can create books, right? So order details. And then there are 4 columns, actually 3 columns in here. So order ID, ISBN, quantity, okay? And then the data type is going to be integer because order ID is usually just 1, 2, 3, whatever. And then the quantity, obviously integer. Again, the last one is a little bit more complicated because usually when you create Excel sheet, there is no linkage between different sheets. But when you do database, it's very common to have linkage. If you ever try to do VLOOKUP, that's essentially the same thing. So this one is saying that the ISBN is actually has to be linked to the ISBN in the book. Because usually when you do order, right, you just type what is the order, and then the book, you just type the ISBN of the book. But then you don't need to type the whole book details, right? The book details already in the book list. So what you do is you just have to link the right column. So I'm linking ISBN from order details to the ISBN column in the book list. And usually that's kind of nice because when you try to list all the things with all the book details, then your command is super easy. Right? You don't have to do VLOOKUP anymore. So that's kind of a nice thing if you set it up like this. Okay? So, okay, just copy. And here you can even comment. If you want to comment, you just do dash dash to comment it out like this. I guess my keyboard shortcuts is Control and / to toggle between comment and uncomment. So I can do that. So that's kind of nice tricks that I always use. So Control and / to comment, right? And then I can just paste these things in here. And actually, but you know, you don't even need to do comment, right? Because this command is actually, it's not going to run if you already have the database. So it's even okay. But for me, I usually just comment what I don't need. Okay, so let's see if it's okay. I'm going to run the third buttons again. This guy right here. Let's run it. Oh, okay. So no database. Select. Okay. I think I need to do. I think I forgot this. Sorry, guys. This. Yeah, I forgot. So can you help me fill in this a little bit details in here? Sometimes sometimes it's okay if your context is already clear, but in this setup right here, it's not clear which database I'm using, so that's why the program is yelling at me. So can you help me fill in IE Bookstore just in front, just to make sure that program, the software doesn't yell at you too. Okay, I need to fix that, okay? I'll fix that soon. Okay, so, and then once you do this, then you can verify if you already have two tables coming up. So I'm going to have to go to table and I have to refresh. Remember, you have to refresh. So right now I'm refreshing the table. I don't need to refresh the whole database, right? Just I mean, I guess you can, but you know, since you're already in the table, so we just click at the table and then refresh the table. Okay. So if I refresh the table, then you should be able to see the two tables coming up. Very good. See, that's how easy it is to. I mean, if you know the command, and actually you can ask AI. The AI is pretty good at doing all of this. Okay. And I guess in this class, in my assignment, you can use AI. It's okay because we're not do coding. We just need to know what we need and then just kind of implement it. Okay. All right. So let's add some data, shall we? Okay. Let me know if you have problem. Okay. Because I can always pause. Okay. All right. So let's add some data. The way that you can do like last time manually, if you go to the book list, right? Actually, you can double click it. Okay. And then if you double click it, sometimes you might be ending up in the property tabs. But I want you to go to the data tab right here. So keep in mind that your panel might look different depending on the tabs that you're in. Okay, so this software has too many buttons, I know. But make sure you're in the data tab of your book list table. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay. And I mean, of course, if you see the column, that should be obvious, right? I want to see two columns like this, okay? All right. Okay, you seem confused. Okay. Okay, so if you want to create the data, just double click somewhere in here, like that. Oh, actually, no, I have to do this guy right here. Add, so there's a button down here that says add row, maybe add row. So maybe add some rows in here. Okay, so click that, right? And now you can start typing in. So you have to type in something, and then title, it's like test book or something. Okay. You can even add more than one row by clicking this add button down below again. You can add 2 books at the same time, right? Another textbook, like that. Okay. And once you're done, you can click saved. So if you don't save, then nothing's going to happen. So you got to save it. Okay, so I'm going to save it. And there you go. So now it's actually in the database, okay, if you saved it. Okay. There you go. ผมช่วยได้นะครับพี่ ผมช่วยได้นะครับมีได้ครับไม่ขึ้นอ๋อมาโอเค can create อ๋อมันมีแล้วครับไม่เป็นไรครับงั้นพี่ปิดมันครับอย่างนี้เลยครับแล้วก็รันใหม่แต่ว่าตรงนี้พอดีอันนี้ผมทำพลาดเองครับต้องใส่ตรงนี้เข้าไปครับลืมบอกมันว่าเป็น database ชื่ออะไรนี่ครับนี่ลืมใส่ครับเรียบร้อยครับนะครับผมก็ refresh นี่มาแล้วทีนี้ในนี้เราก็จะกดบวกปุ๊บเพื่อที่จะพิมพ์เสร็จกดเซฟครับเดี๋ยวนะแป๊บนึงนะกดบวกแล้วพิมพ์แล้วกดเซฟด้วยนะก็มีแล้วนะอะไรเนี่ยไม่ใช่ละผิดอันละเดี๋ยวก่อนอันนี้ผิดอันผิดหน้าต้อง refresh เอาใหม่งั้นมีแล้วครับนี่เนาะอันนี้แล้วก็อันนี้นี่ไงมีหมดแล้วครับเราสามารถเล่นได้ละเนี่ยกดต้องกดที่ Data ด้วย
เมื่อกี้อาจารย์กดตรงไหน
เนี่ยกดไม่รู้กดตรงไหนไม่รู้อะผมกดไปเรื่อยๆนี่มีแล้วนี่โอเคครับ Okay, but this is very manual, right? And usually that's not what we do. Like when we add in the data, actually we want to keep records on what we add. So you can take a look in here. This is how we add the data using the code. Okay, so why don't we try it? So I'm going to copy all of this, right? And then go back into my scripts. Remember, you still have your scripts, right? We don't need all of this, so I'm going to hit Control// to comment it all. I'm going to copy the last ones in here. Okay, like that. Okay. And you can also hit run and see what happened. Okay. Okay, I'm going to hit run. Oops, something wrong. Duplicate entry, Y. I don't understand. Oh, did I have duplicate keys in here? No, I did not, right? Oh, is it because I already did? Let me see. Oh, I already did. Okay, yeah, that's why. Okay, so the error that I got is that once you do it once, if you do it another time, it does not work because this column is called the key. It's the index column. So that means that the entries in here cannot be the same. So what happened is that, like, I did it once, it worked, right? But then when I was trying to run it again, it was saying that you cannot insert this book because this book has the same number of the key. The key is duplicated, that's why, okay? So for you, again, it should work the first time you hit this run button, but then you can always come here, and then please make sure that you refresh it, right? So in any of this database software, if you don't refresh it, it doesn't work. I mean, you have to refresh to see the latest data. Okay? Okay, so this is good and all, right? But then, I mean, we don't want to be typing this in from this software, right? It would be much nicer if we can add in this from the web application. So that's exactly what PHP come in. So PHP is like an engine that kind of glue everything together, including HTML, so that we can see things from the web browser. And then you can write your SQL statements that write things into your database too. So that kind of like essentially what we are doing every day, right? We're writing things, we're reading things from database all the time, and PHP is one of the tools that can achieve that. Okay, so I'm gonna leave this now. Let me know if you have any problem. Okay. ครับ
อินเสิร์ตแล้วมันเรียงลงมาข้างล่างหมดเลยอะ
เดี๋ยวก่อนนะครับมันมีอันนี้ไทโปแล้วครับ อันนี้ไม่ใช่แล้วครับเนี่ยอันนี้ไม่ใช่แล้ว
มันเอาแบบนี้ผมก็เลย
เอาใหม่อันนี้โทษนะอันนี้ต้องอันนี้ปิดไปก่อนครับปิดอย่างเงี้ยพี่ลบไปเลยก็ได้พี่ไม่เป็นไรมันไม่ได้มีประเด็นอะไรครับเว็บผมอยู่ไหนครับอันนี้นะโอเคไม่เป็นไงครับเศร้าอะ paste ผมไม่แน่ใจทำไมเครื่องพี่แปลกอยู่เครื่องเดียวทำไม ผมเกิดอะไรขึ้นงั้นเดี๋ยวขอลองอาจจะมี formatting อะไรบางอย่างหรือเปล่าภาษาแน่เลยมันคือภาษาหรือเปล่าเมื่อกี้มันเป็นภาษาไทยเหมือนเดิมโอเคไม่เป็นไรครับผมลองบทที่ผมจะชอบเขาเรียกว่านี่ครับนี่ไงงั้นเป็นตั้งแต่ไม่ใช่โปรแกรมนี้ครับเป็นตั้งแต่ Windows พี่มันมีการมันไม่รับตรงนี้เนาะคัดลอกพี่มี extension อะไรประหลาดอันนี้ไหมครับ
ก็ไม่มีเนาะไม่เคยทำอะไรครับ
แต่เฉพาะหน้านี้หน้าเดียวหรือเปล่า
เมื่อกี้ได้นะเฉพาะอันเนี้ย
โอเคงั้นดูโอเคผมว่าไม่เป็นไรพี่อันนี้เรื่องเล็กเพราะว่าจริงๆแค่อยากจะให้ insert data เล่นๆแต่จริงๆพี่ก็มี data แล้วนะเพราะนั้นช่างมันเถอะไม่เป็นไรครับงั้นเดี๋ยวเราลอง add data เล่นๆก็พอครับเช่น1 2 3 4ไม่เป็นไรแค่นี้พอครับคือเดี๋ยวเราจะให้ลองแบบเอามาดูไงแค่นั้นแหละจะได้เห็นว่ามันมีข้อมูลบ้างแค่นั้นแล้วกดเซฟนะครับเรียบร้อยแค่นี้พอครับแค่นี้พอโอเค there's always a strange problem that แต่ยังไงเดี๋ยวผมมาดูให้พี่นะผมอยากรู้ว่าเกิดอะไรขึ้นแต่ตอนนี้มันโอเค alright so hopefully everyone has persistence data in your database okay so the next part is we're going to make the web application so that we can get all this data write this data from the web browser itself, okay? To do that, we're going to go back to my lecture. And, we're going to go to the guide right here, okay? So we have finished these two parts. We're going to go to the third part, which is PHP. Let's go, okay? PHP. All right. And here is a guide, and all of this, again, you have to log into your server. So why don't we do that? I mean, I already logged out, but I'm going to log in again. Okay, so the first step is, of course, we're going to install PHP on our server, right? Remember, you already installed your PHP on your laptop. Right? But that's not the same as on the server. The server doesn't understand PHP yet, and this is how we install it. Okay? Again, in Linux, we don't install things by downloading executable. We just type in command like this. Okay, so we're going to do that. That's all. And then type your password and just let it run. And don't forget to hit yes. So Y, which is yes. ครับโอเคแล้วเราตอนนี้อยู่ตรงไหน
อยู่ตั้งแต่ตรงที่อาจารย์
okay. So once you log into your server, all you need to do is to go to PHP guide, okay? And the very first command, which is this command right here, you just want to copy and paste onto your terminal. Actually, if you want, maybe I'll fix it later, but I should do -y. If you -y, then you don't have to click confirmation, but just type this in. When you type, I don't physically mean type, right? I mean copy and paste. Right? So usually you can copy, and then when you want to paste, for me, I usually do Control V. It works. Sometimes it doesn't. If it doesn't work, you do Control Shift V. Like for me, I kind of alternate between these two ways of pasting. So learn how to paste because we're going to be doing this all the time. So we should not be typing things, okay? All right. I mean, if you can reinstall things, no problem, right? But for me, it's like if I type this thing again, then it's not going to do anything. Okay,ไหมครับ ใช่ครับก็ yes สิครับนั่นแหละครับฮะแอดมิน1234ครับ
หนูใส่ไปแล้วนะคะมันก็ไม่ได้
ขอผมพิมพ์เองภาษาไทยไม่ได้ครับโอเคcopy paste ไปซะ
อันนี้ไปแล้ว
อ๋อทำไปแล้วอ๋อโอเคไม่เป็นไรโอเคsee so to test if you already have PHP installed you should be able to run PHP on your computer on your server so why don't we do this want to check right here so we want to create a new PHP file called test.php right onto your home folder that's fine. So we're going to use Nano, your favorite text editor program, Nano test.php. Okay, enter. Now you should be greeted with this. And all you have to do is just copy this one. This is the PHP syntax, just to say hello world, right? Usually you do hello world everywhere when you want to learn new things. And I'm going to paste it in. And remember how to save? Control S, so saving. And then when you want to quit, it's Control X, like that. Control S and Control X to quit, okay? And if you want to test PHP, just do PHP and then test.php and see if you see hello world. There you go, I have it. So my PHP is running. Okay, I got this. If you got this, that means you already have PHP. So this is how easy it is to install PHP on Linux, okay? All right, so PHP is running. What else do we need to do? There are a little bit of stuff we need to take care of, okay? So you're good to go. So, but there is a little bit more to this because when we are running web application, we're actually not using this generic PHP executable here. We're actually using an engine called PHP FPM. Okay, so this is another thing that you just install. Basically, if you go back to your commands, you'll see that you don't actually install PHP like a pure PHP things. You actually install PHP-FPM. So that is called PHP Fast Process Manager. Okay, the name doesn't really you don't need to know the name, but the gist of this is that the vanilla PHP that you just use is actually too slow for the web application. So if you want to use PHP for web application, there is actually another process that is built to specifically run PHP for the web application, and that is called PHP FPM. It's like super optimized to run, the modern requirement for workload. Okay, and for this to work, you have to configure a little bit for PHP FPM, and that's the reason why we are doing all of this. Okay, and essentially I just looked it up. I didn't come up with this. Okay, just look it up. All right, so So first, we're going to be editing the configuration file for PHP FPM. So you copy this one, and then you paste it in here. Do that. Okay. So this one, leave in the folder called etc PHP 8.2 FPM. So that is where, so usually when you install things on Linux, and your configuration file is always going to be in the etc folder. That's always going to be the case, okay? And what we want to do is we want to change this thing. So look for this line called listen.owner and listen.groups. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down until you see the line called listen right here. You see this line? Keep going down until you see this line, or up, okay? And you want to change this to admin, which is your own user, your user in the on the server. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to delete this and type admin. And also for the group, it's called admin. So make sure this is the one that you want to do, okay? All right, and once you do that, let me just check real quick if that's all you need to do. Okay, yeah, that's all you need to do. So we're gonna save. Again, if you wanna save, just do Control S, and then you wanna quit, which is Control X. Okay, so maybe it's a good thing to just kind of verify that you already changed things. Sometimes if you don't change things, it doesn't work. So if I go back to my files again and revisit that line, I see that my, the line has been changed, and I'm gonna quit Control X again, right? And once you did that, you have to restart, okay, for things to take effects. So so just execute these two commands. So you have to do two commands. I think you can do two at once. Let me just try. If I just copy all of this and then just type it in, it actually works. So you can do one and enter, or you can do both of them at the same time. It actually understands. Okay. Well, you can redo these commands, okay, right? You can just type it in like that. Very good. All right, assuming everyone is up to this point. Okay. Next step, we're done with PHP. See how easy this is? Next stop, we're going to do web service. So that is actually setting up this guy right here. So right now, your web service is doing just one thing, right? You only have like that default page. We want to change that. We want to change to be your own page. So you have to configure essentially Nginx. Right here. Okay, so why don't we go to the guide one more time? Okay. So the terminology is actually the same as what you just what you install on your computer. So XAMPP SAM is called SAM, right? We are going to create what is called the virtual host. Virtual host is like your website, basically. Okay. So I'm going to create another folder. In this specific folder, it's var/www. So that's its specific folder to create a new site. Okay. So just copy these things in here and then just paste it in here. Sudo make dir var www and my apps. So I'm gonna call my new application my app. Okay. So let's just use the one that I have so that we're all the same. But I mean, in the future, if you want to create another site, you can change my app to be anything you want. Okay. Enter. Whoop, file exists because maybe I already did it. I'm not sure. I guess did you do it? You might do it. If it's already exists, that's good. Let's check it. Okay. So I'm gonna go cd var www. Okay. And let's see. Oh, actually, I already did it. I don't know when I did this. Maybe you already did it too, okay? Which is okay, okay? If I go to see my app, then, okay, it's empty. Okay, that's why. So maybe, I think I might have told you to do this when we were creating Nginx, maybe. But if you haven't done this, this thing will be just a good check anyway. Okay, all right. Next, we are going to change the permission of that particular folder. So in Linux, it's, I mean, I guess in every operating system, there's always a permission. Like in Windows, you have to be admin to do certain things. And the same thing with Linux. If you want to be doing things with my app folder, you want to give yourself the permission to do things in there. So this particular line tells the system that the directory called my apps is actually owned by you. So that this is you. It's gonna translate into your username. Okay. So why don't we just do that? So this line right here, I'm gonna copy and paste. You can be anywhere. It doesn't have to be in that particular folder. You can run this command anywhere. It's okay. Just run it. Because the path is absolute path, so it doesn't really matter where you run it. Okay. All right. So you take care of your folder, your permission, and then the next is the configuration file. So this particular location is the etc/nginx/site available. So this is where you add in the new site configuration. Like it's almost like you adding in the settings if you were to have like a graphical user interface. Okay, but let's just copy this and then I'm gonna type it in. Okay. Oh, you just do CD and then just enter. And that goes back to your home. Okay. Oh, okay. In case anybody was wondering how to go back to your original place, just do CD. For example, if I do like etc, and if I go anywhere else, and I can do CD, and that's always go back to my home. Okay. And if you are wondering where you are, you can do PWD. So that's always going to tell you where you are. I mean, I guess it doesn't make sense to you right now, like this path, but /home is almost like user in Windows, and admin is your username. So this is where your home folder is. If I were to go like etc/nginx, right, and then pwd, so that's always going to be, that's going to give me the path to that. I mean, which sometimes you already see it, right, in your prompt. So yeah. All right. So let me just continue. I'm going to copy this line right here. Okay. And that's going to show me, again, nano. Okay? So I'm going to edit this file, which usually you don't have to edit. Just copy it from somewhere. And I mean, this one, I asked AI for it. I didn't type it in myself. Okay? But since I already know what it looks like, so it's, I know which one is correct. Right? So just copy. So first, we'll just test if it works or not. So I'm going to copy the whole thing. And then I'm going to paste it in like this. Okay? So when you paste it in, make sure that you complete the whole brackets, right? There is an open brackets and there's a closing brackets. So it has to be complete. So right now the syntax has to be correct. Okay? If you made mistake, you can delete them, do it again, and things like that, or ask me to fix it. Okay? So I'm gonna save, Control S, and Control X to quit. Okay? Okay, so almost done. Okay, so the next thing is we are going to enable it. So right now we're creating the settings, but the site is not enabled. So think about it as like if you add the new site into your Windows, you might want to click like turn on, like it's at the on button. Except that the turning on button in here looks really, really complicated, but actually it's not. But that's the way that it's recommended. So you're gonna creating what's called a link file to another location. So think about this line as turning on button, like the on-off switch. Okay, I'm gonna turn it on by creating this thing. So we're gonna copy, paste, and enter. Okay, so I know it looks complicated. Like when I saw it the first time, it's overwhelming. But I just want to tell you guys that everybody do this, and then as and as time progresses, it just feels normal. But that ln that s with that thing following, that's turning on button for that particular site. Okay. All right. So let's test your configuration file. So I'm going to do the first thing. So this command is testing if what you just did is correct or not. Okay. Remember, because we can make mistakes very easily. So Nginx has a nice command to see if everything is okay or not. So confirm with me if it's saying syntax is okay. If it's not okay, then it's not okay, all right? Yeah, usually if you do it through the GUI, then it's kind of forced you to do the right thing, but this one, people make mistakes all the time. That's why this command is super useful, okay? And once it's okay, then you can now restart Nginx to make the change take effect, okay? So I'm gonna do systemctl restart Nginx. Actually, this one we already used last time too, right? When we wanna make changes to anything, we restart the server. Actually, restart the application, not the server, okay? Good job, all right? So we almost got to the point where we actually make something, okay? So in order to make anything happening onto the actual website, we're gonna have to create the PHP file inside the location of our website, which is my app. Okay, remember my app is like the place that we store things from our own websites. So I'm gonna create this info.php inside our my app location. Which we just copy this in, okay? So I'm gonna copy this in, and then I'm gonna type in like this. All right. Oh, actually, I already had this file, so maybe because I did it on my own, maybe you don't have it. You should not have it, okay? But for me, I already test things, so that's why it's already in here, okay? I'm gonna edit this anyway, all right? Then I'm gonna do this. Okay, copy this in, and then paste it in here. So take note that this is where you want to be, and this is your content of the file. Okay. Okay, once you're done, you can save and quit. Okay, and now it's the final time. Let's check it. Okay. So if you were to go into your server URL, so remember my server URL is this one. So you have to use, let's just use the local one first. Okay, so this is the local one. Okay, I'm going to type it in, but then that's not enough, right? I have to /info.php. Okay, see if that works for you. If you see that, then you're good to go. That means you're doing the right thing, okay? Here. So change your URL accordingly.4แล้วครับ เดี๋ยวดูให้ ผมว่าทำไมผมพูดดังตลอดเลยวะ เพราะว่ามันไม่ทำงาน โอ้เขียนผิดเลยครับ info อ๋อเยี่ยมมาก Congratulations, this is your actual first deployment, and actually this is like what people are doing for real, like real production. They use this type of software, and that's why it's so complicated. Right? But the good thing is it doesn't get more complicated than this. Like if you get a hang of this, you can pretty much just do whatever you want on your own with the actual things that the industry standard is actually using. Okay? นี่ครับพี่
ผมติดปัญหามันหลุดครับ
อ๋อ
ผมก็เลยว่าแต่ผมไม่มีปัญหากับการเรียนครับ เรียน
ครับ
ที่ผมเข้าใจ
อ๋อเข้าใจครับได้ครับเพิ่ม
หลุดครับ
หลุด
เดี๋ยวผมเข้าไปดู
ไม่เดี๋ยวช่วยให้ดูหลุดตรงไหนครับหลุดตรงไหน
หลุดไกลไหม
ไกลเหรอครับถึงไหนเนี่ย เอา PHP ก่อนนะ
PHP ตั้งแต่ PHP เลย
How about this? We take 10 minutes break so that I can make other people catch up with you guys, okay? Good job.